I mean, you're originally from Ecuador, right? You're now the executive chef of this beautiful property in Lexington. How do we get from Ecuador to Lexington, Kentucky?
I know, right? Well, I have to say, everything started back at home. I went to culinary school there. It was amazing. I paid for my own school, so I'm a very busybody. I work at the school and on a restaurant. That was my first restaurant, and I was there for 5 years.
Yeah.
After that, it kind of like rely on love per se. So
Yes.
I fell in love with now ex-partner, and he is here from the States in Arkansas. We moved in Arkansas on 2017. We were there for a while. We had a restaurant called Roots. Very proud of that, honestly. It was a blend between Southern food and Ecuadorian food. I'll change the menu every 3 months completely without repeating anything. And it was a great time there.
Yeah.
Very proud of what I achieved there. But a convention for James Beard took me to Houston, and I started meeting my now, I don't know, my little chef tribe per se.
Yes.
And I met one of my friends called Carlos Raba. He's a chef in Baltimore. I met him, a few more people, and he was like, you need to meet my business partner. So his business partner is actually Nick Spelman's brother.
Yeah.
So we were talking during this weekend, and I was like, well, I want to move somewhere else. I think it's time for me to just reach other roofs I need to break, you know. I reached my roof there and I wanted to do something different. I actually wanted to move to the East Coast, like actually in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I think you will be really good for this spot. So conversations ended there. We got reached out a couple months afterwards. And then back then his consultant went to our restaurant, tasted food. They loved it, invited us over to Lexington the next week. And came here. I met the team, Nick and Garrett. Garrett's our F&B director. And they showed us around the property. It was already a full-on stand building, kitchen's already designed, and concept was already in. But what I was doing back there in Jonesboro, Arkansas was very similar of what they want to hear in Granddam. And upstairs it was, of course, a plus.
Yes.
Because I can do a little bit of my Latino culture, you know. So it was taking over two properties in the hotel. And I don't know, something about just going around the city and never really felt like home ever since I left Ecuador. And I remember we were doing one of the horse tours, and just the drive to Georgetown remind me a lot of back home. And
I love that. I've never heard of Lexington. Like, I've heard it looks like Ireland and things like that, but like the fact that you saw things in it that reminded you of home.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for me, as a foreigner, it's something that I was like trying to incline somewhere, and I didn't find it in Arkansas. I had a great time there, but here I know something clicked.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with the city and I moved.
Right. I mean, the city fell in love with you. I mean, I can't count how many times I've been here. No one needs to know how many times I've been to Granddam and Lost Palm. But one thing I love is that you've been able to infuse your culture into a lot of the cuisine. You kind of brought some of the things that you brought from Arkansas with, you know, the seasonal menus. So when it comes to deciding these seasonal menus and what you're featuring and any specials, like, what goes into that?
Well, I mean, I always think about my surroundings. So as a chef, there's different things that you think now a new, let's say, generation of chefs. We don't only cook. We need to think about our community. So I don't like to say that we're farm to table because, I mean, 100% sustain, it will be impossible. But very community driven. And that's always been my mindset ever since I started having experience in the industry. Community has to be the star, and we just basically like the channel of highlighting the product. And the seasonality is not only for sustainability purposes. I'm a huge advocate of that, but because I also think about the team. Without the team, I wouldn't be able to do anything I do. And you go back to generations of chefs that they do the same thing for years.
Right.
And you just, I mean, for me, I want them to learn more.
Yeah, I think it's important to evolve, right? Like, things are good while they're good, but I think in order to reach new different demographics or new generations, like you have to always be kind of reinventing, and you say a lot of what's around you. I know you're not completely farm to table, but there's still a lot on the menu that is sourced right here in Kentucky, and in this beautiful space I see so much inspiration. So how is it working in a property like the Manchester, and does everything from the interior to even the staff, like, does that inspire you to create these dishes?
Absolutely. Here at the hotel, I think we all are in the same mindset. So we're very detail oriented. We are always eager to do more, and we're very passionate at where we're from, very proud, and I think that's very important. At the end of it all, if you don't highlight the community, what are we doing, And from my end as a chef, I need to have my imprint. So yeah, it's true. I do put a little bit of my culture in it. And also it's a transition, in this industry. You're never gonna be the master of something. I mean, if you work on one thing for the rest of your life, yes. But for me, you're always learning. So the chef I was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, or 13 years ago, it's not the same because I've been living in different places, always very proud of where I'm from, but also kind of just putting myself into where I've been before. So I don't know. I mean, changing the menu here is being amazing. They love it. I mean, it's a huge task to ask, but they have been owning it, and I'm very proud of that. And that makes us a better team every day. Honestly.
Yeah, and one of the things I love that you said is, like, you don't forget where you're from, but you're also open to new environments and new relationships and things like that in order to further not only your career but possibly your personal life. And I know you're a mom.
Yeah.
And so how does being a mom, juggling all this, I can barely keep up with myself, and I don't have no kids, I don't have a dog, I don't have anything. So I can only imagine motherhood and navigating not only a new state, but a new country, and being able to take in all these cultures and fusions. Like, how does being a mom play a part in your career as a chef?
Oh my, I think there's something we debate a lot with my friends and colleagues. Having a balance in this food industry is really hard, but we're kind of also breaking that generational, I don't want to say generational trauma, but kind of, yes.
Yeah, it's very real. And
this life is not set for a very healthy life. If you let it, it's very easy to go that down,
Right.
But for me, it's like, if the people that really get successful in this career is because you find balance. I mean, for me, it's first go my kids and then my career. And also, I want them to really understand what I do, because, I mean, being a chef is a really cool thing to be in the society, because we also can be agents of change. So I remember I'm always very connected to my farmers. Even back in Arkansas, we'll take Liam, my oldest, with me to the farms. You're like, hey, they need to have that connection where food is coming from, product, like how this happens. And it's not a very glamorous life.
No, being a farmer is tough work, okay?
It is, but as a chef as well, I mean, this is amazing, we have an interview and it looks like, I mean, she's having the best life, but being a chef is not very glamorous, It's a lot of hard work, very physical, long hours. And the balance of it all, I mean, I'm very thankful to be working with a team that has that understanding, because usually in the more higher end restaurants and hotels you are, and depending on the team, it's very normal to be like, you belong here and you just have to, that's your focus, we don't care about anything else. And that's the culture of the team here is completely different. I mean, we all understand we have families. It's just amazing. I mean, the support that I have from them, I'm so thankful that I think I wouldn't be able to find that very easily somewhere else. So we are in the mindset that we're a team, we want to grow and have great support. Yes, I'm doing just me and my kids and my dogs, but I manage, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not easy, but I mean, you make it look easy. And one of the really cool things, I mean, the announcement came out that you will be part of the new seasons of Top Chef, and we're super excited. Speaking of support, not only this city, but the state will be behind you. So let me tell us what you can tell us about your experience and what we can expect this season.
Well, this feels surreal, honestly.
Yeah.
It's been a lot in the works. We did all recording per se last year. It was the most amazing thing I have done in my life. The hardest thing I have done in my career, that's for sure. As a professional, as a mom, being away for that long, really, it was hard.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, because I mean, don't you sometimes have a little limited time to really touch base with your family and your kids? So, but I guess, is one of the reasons why you got into Top Chef is because you're doing it for them?
I think, no, yes. And that's funny that you say that because I had this conversation back then. And yes, I mean, the question always arose, like, why are you doing this, you know? And I feel it was about time to do something for myself, I have to say. It was the second time I was asked to do it, and it was not the right time the first time. And this was the right time to do it. But also because I want my kids to have the same fire and energy. And like, you want something, you go get it. Of course, with a lot of hard work, but I mean, you always have to push yourself to sometimes not comfortable places, you know?
Right.
But as a professional, I think it's something I need to do. And I came back completely transformed chef, and way more honed, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure your craft got better. I mean, that's like a pressure cooker. I mean, we watch it from the outside, but anybody that has worked in a little bit of production or seen behind the scenes, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. What would you say was what you can disclose was one of the high points that you got out of the experience, and maybe one of the low points that you had to work through?
I think the highest points, sharing all those experiences with this amazing chef's testants per se. We came back as a family, like that's for sure. Having that experience of meeting the location per se in a different way that nobody else would have been able. The amount of people that are there in this competition is just so talented.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a huge advocate on like, you need to really see who you hang out per se, and spend your time, especially in this industry, because you get into that, you know, you get better as a professional. It made me realize things as a chef that I was thinking like, yeah, this is fine, you know, but you don't get to be judged at that level, not in a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I think for all of us, we came in thinking like, we're gonna do this certain way, we're gonna do this type of dishes, or we're gonna do that. And basically you get just crumbled down and be like, no. You get really humble really quick, I have to say. But it's just the opportunity to be just judged by Kristen Kish and Tom Colicchio, you know, and Gail Simmons is just like amazing, but also is kind of like, it transforms your whole mindset.
Yeah.
It was an experience that I will always remember, for sure. And I cannot wait to get my kids over there and kind of show them where I cooked.
Yeah.
And
go to, is the set smaller than it looks on TV?
Well, we took to many places around the city, that's for sure. We spend the majority of the time on Top Chef Kitchen for quick fires per se. But it's wild. I mean, you have everything on earth for you to use. It's amazing. But it's a race around the clock.
Oh yeah, I have so much respect for you and the other chefs. And I'm sure a lot of those chefs come from like larger cities and in comparison to Lexington. And with you being so talented, I'm sure you could go anywhere, but like, why Lexington?
For me to be, or?
Yeah, like but what do you love about Lexington so much that you might not be able to get in a larger city? I don't know what your future looks like. You might don't leave us anytime soon, but you might, yes.
I think, well, that's a really good question to ask, honestly, because as a chef, yeah, of course, other cities are alluring. But for me, it's more of how I feel. Yes, New York, DC, Chicago, amazing. But Lexington, I mean, it's my home. I mean, there's the culture, the people. I don't know. I mean, something about it just, I know I want to grow here. I want my kids to be raised here. This is home base. Yes, we want to open more things in other places. but I don't know. I mean, it feels like home.
Yeah, I think this day and age, like the world is a lot smaller in the sense of like you can have a base like Lexington, but I mean, we're within a day's drive of 2/3 of the US population. So it's easy to like, I mean, I'm sure the phone is going to ring nonstop now that you are a contestant on Top Chef. So you're still able to experience the world and travel, but like it's nothing like finding a home and having people travel here. And then there's so many people, I'm sure you meet so many people just through this hotel from all over the world.
It's beautiful. I mean, I remember last year I had some of my friends come here for a collaboration. They're from Denver. He's an amazing chef. And we went through a little farm tour, And I have two that are really dear to my heart, Tim Hensley and Michael from Sylvatica Forest Farm. And I took them it was a nice transition between the bluegrass and the Appalachian Mountains. And it's just beautiful. And for me as a chef, I mean, I always think, like I said, in my surroundings, it's just unique. You don't see that ever, anywhere. And when we were at Tim's, since he's right in the middle, he has this like rainforest kind of weather and he was telling us the facts and everything. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And the amount of farmers we have here in Kentucky, I mean, honestly, it's so hard to pick who you're gonna like be using their product, but it's just unique. I mean, it's just the pride of being in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it. I feel more a Kentuckian now than ever.
I know. It's hard not to, obviously I'm born and raised here, lived a little bit of different places. And I will say there is nothing like Kentucky pride. Like Kentuckians are very, very proud.
Yeah.
And it's hard to escape agriculture because it's such a big proponent, not only in Lexington, but part of the state. What has been the main thing, like if you could do what's your day off in Lexington? Like besides like catching up on your rest, like what is something that you like here? You love to, I don't care if it's eating or going to
Absolutely.
Yes, that is my like, what are your hobbies? I'm like eating and drinking. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes.
I'm a very simple person. I love Mexican food.
Okay.
Tortilleria Los Ramirez is my favorite restaurant. It's so good. It's amazing.
People sleep on that restaurant, I feel like. I mean, it's like if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah,
exactly. No, absolutely. I mean, it's such a, it's simple, It's nothing crazy, but the food is amazing. My son loves that. He's very daring on his food, and I really like that because I'm like, you have to. Come on,
I mean, you can't be, the child of a chef and just eat chicken tenders and French fries. Like, let's develop that palate. Let's explore.
But no, I mean, for me, my day off, I mean, depending. If I'm with the kids, if it's on fall, I love to go to Evan Orchard. Love that place. I fell in love with it the first year I was here. We used to go every week. And also, I mean, picking the apples and everything. My kids loves it. And I don't know, I like to drive. So I do a lot of driving if I need to really think. My decompression is going to farmers. Like I remember I did more last year than now. What's the name? There's this lavender farm, Moms, I think. Go there, go to a farm, just decompress. Or if I drive, I love Houston Antioch Road all the way to Seedley Farm. Oh yeah, I love that drive.
Wow, you know Lexington roads better than I do. I'm excited. I think this is where.
I love to be in the country, but if I'm in Lexington, I go downtown. Yeah. I think I did my first Spice of Bluegrass tour.
Oh yes, I saw you. It was amazing. I think I saw you. It's like last week.
It was last week.
Yes, because it was like an industry tour, and I'm just like, I feel like I know. I can't really see. I was across the street, but like,
amazing.
Yeah,
like I love that because I mean, I think this past couple months, it's been more like really get myself into getting to do more per se because I'm always so focused, like home here. But it was amazing. I think Erin is a great advocate for hospitality in the city.
Absolutely.
I mean, looking forward to do more things with her, honestly. But I don't know. I mean, I love downtown. I love the farmers market. she took us to this part of, she has like a cocktail university now.
Yes.
That was really cool.
I've definitely made some cocktails up there. I mean, we are such a big proponent of Bites of the Bluegrass. She's actually on this series as well. So, yeah, but I think she does a great job of bringing the community together, and she is probably a lot of people's first point of entry to seeing how well we play in the sandbox here in Lexington. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so when it comes to, what can we expect in the future from you? Not only here at the Manchester Hotel in Granddam and Lost Palm, and how you really help elevate, I mean, the property's beautiful, but like really the people within it is what makes it so successful. And you're part of that, and the experience that they get, especially on the food and beverage side. I mean, you all knock it out the park each and every time. So what can we expect from you here at this property, and then in the future?
In the future, I mean, here in the Manchester, I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, the team makes it everything, For us to continue to grow. I mean, I'm in it to win it. I want to open more concepts, that's for sure. Me personally, my own goal, I want to open a nonprofit.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I want to open a nonprofit.
And is it going to be focused more on like culinary, agriculture, both, or hospitality in general?
Both, honestly. Okay. I mean, when I went to the James Beard boot camp, we talked about a lot. Back then, it was the Farm Bill and food accessibility.
Yeah, we got to talk about James Beard too. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I don't think people understand. James Beard is like the Oscars or the Emmys of the culinary industry. And to be a part of that boot camp, for you to be a part of all, and I think obviously I'm somewhat immersed in culinary and agriculture, so like I'm a nerd about stuff like that. So let's talk about and then we'll go back to the nonprofit. Not that the nonprofit's not super important work, but I want to touch on your James Beard boot camp experience.
No, yes. I mean, I remember, I think what changed my life was this trip to Houston. I mean, between meeting my new friends, meeting Stanley, and then coming here, meet Nick and Gary and everybody here, the boot camp was something that really catapulted everything else too. So it's something that you have to be selected. You apply, you do a little bit of an essay, you need recommendation from other bootcamp alums or any nominees per se, and usually that goes hand by hand, They took us to Albuquerque, to Los Poblanos, a beautiful property. If you ever have the chance, go, please, it's amazing. And there was 3 days of just talking sustainability, advocacy, and how to write policy. For my end, honestly, I love to cook, and that's what I'm always going to be passionate. But also, like I said, I think as chefs, we're agents of change. Especially me, I think I have a great career so far, but I'm still starting. Like all my friends are there already in the nominations and JBF and everything. They're in their 40s, so I'm like the baby. But if we don't do something for the community as chefs, I mean, I think we're not doing our job.
Absolutely. And that kind of touches back on the nonprofit. That is something that you want to open in the future. Is it going to touch on all those points, kind of what you learned at boot camp, and in order to be an agent of change?
Absolutely. I mean, I think going from Arkansas to Kentucky, it was such a change because you have two different states that they have to focus on different things. So where I was in Arkansas was focused on agriculture, but it was pretty commercial. So on that end, in bootcamp, I touch on endemic plants per se that need to be reinstated into that part of the state because it's getting very unsustainable grounds. And we talked about insurance flooding, what we can do with the Farm Bill, and how can we change that, But then when it comes to Kentucky, we talk about a lot of SNAP, honestly. And in that point, I was also going through some personal stuff with my son. My son has disabilities, and he needs Medicaid and whatnot because he has a trach and event. So going through that process and talking about that for me was very eye-opener because they give you stats of your state. And it was saying 66% of the people they were on SNAP per se, and they're talking people with disabilities, and I was like, it's so hard to get that, balance that, especially as a medical parent per se. But for me, I mean, when it came to that, I kind of want to do a nonprofit focus on food accessibility, you know? I love what Seed Leaf does, and I talked to Christine about it a little bit, you know? It's something I want to do something immediate, but like in the next 5 years. Just because I think what they're doing is great. I would love to do something like that here in the Distillery District. But also make sure people that have SNAPs per se have access to nutritious food. You know?
I feel like just because you're food insecure in a food desert, like they still need access to great food. And I love what you're doing. Your story is super inspirational, and we are so thankful to have you in Lexington. And so, I mean, I just not even speaking from a Visit Lex perspective, but my perspective, we are going to be rooting you on to the finish line. So let's cheers to that. And cheers to you.
Thank you.
I love these espresso
It's being a
martinis.
pleasure. They're the best.
I mean, I don't know what y'all do, but y'all doing something right.
Lie with the love we had, but it's all gone bad, and I won't come, baby, ain't that sad? You're like a horse running, horse running, horse running. You're like a horse.